participant to get in the room, right?
Yes.
Okay. Ashokji, can you switch off your video and audio?
Okay. Madhav?
जी डॉक्टर आर्य बोलिए.
What is the delay?
I think we only have like 14 people right now. There are
Okay.
more joining.
Hmm.
So we're just waiting for that to happen because they want an entry in the Madhav has to allow, and then slowly people will add up.
Okay. You can just in the meantime mention that.
Good evening to all.
Good evening. Good evening, Rendraji.
Madhav, is it possible for you to put up the our invite of DMA as a screen at the moment?
Just a moment. I'll just.
How many people have joined so far?
We have
15.
15
We have
people.
15.
Out
But
of
that includes us as well.
Okay.
that's 6 of us.
Yeah.
That's 6 of us, and then there's
Just 7, 8.
yeah.
So do we have some female participants as well?
Yes.
We're expecting female. All right. So
Yes.
then I would address ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Thank you.
Madhav, not the bottom, not the bottom, just the screen. Yeah.
So I think I need to just stop.
Save it on a desktop and do it.
Yeah.
Vishnuji is doing it. Ekta, you may just say a few words for wait time.
Sure. Good evening to all the participants who have joined us. I can see just men. Oh, we have Sanchali, says. So it's great to say lady and gentlemen. My name is Ekta Raman, and I'm going to initiate today's session. Just waiting for today's webinar. So just waiting for all the participants to join in. Thank you very much for your patience.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Rajanji, maybe just for 2 minutes more, or should we wait longer?
No, I think we should
I think we can start this
Yes,
meeting
yes.
and let the participant
join in. Yes.
may join.
Okay. Ekta, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all of you. I welcome all of you for a wonderful webinar, which is on the sustaining organizational culture in difficult times. Difficult times these are, as we are in version 3, that's lockdown 3.0, with indefinite timelines. We don't know what's coming up. But this is a webinar which has been organized by the Delhi Management Association in association with the LRI BMC team, and I welcome all of you. And I really hope that you will have some key takeaways and you'll get some clarification around the subject of the day today. So I will now like to welcome Mr. Rajan Pandey. Rajan is the director of Delhi Management Association and a very seasoned and experienced professional person. And Rajanji, over to you for moderating the session and taking it ahead. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ekta. On behalf of DMA and Bhartiya Management Consultancy, welcome you all to a very interactive session. Before I start this session, I sincerely hope that you are coping well in these difficult times and taking all necessary precautions to stay safe and healthy. Now, coming back to this session, I'm sure we are very, very fortunate to have two eminent personalities with us. Dr. Ashok Kumar Arya, a leading management and legal consultant, practicing advocate in Supreme Court of India and chairman of OD Consultants and Organization Development Institute. And one thing is very good in his a good human being and a good philosopher and good guide. And he is associated with DMA for a quite long time, and now we welcome him as a keynote speaker. And we are very fortunate to have Mr. Ashutosh Sharma, Chief Mentor and Business Coach, LRI BMC team, who will moderate this session. And looking forward to hear these star words. And our request Mr. Sharma to share his perspective on this topic and invite Dr. Arya to share his thoughts with all of us. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much for Rajanji, your kind words. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I hope you already had a very nice cup of tea before coming over, because that is an option now. You can have it served to you even from the backdrops, because your family can support you for that. The option wasn't available while we were in offices. No, few things to make this session more effective. We will request all the participants to keep their audios and videos mute all through the session, because that really helps us to take the load off the internet bandwidth. Technology challenges are there, so that if you keep your videos and audios off, it takes away that load from the internet. And whenever you have any question to ask, please use the chat box option given there. Put your questions there. Me and my colleagues, we will be collating those questions and asking those on your behalf to Dr. Arya for better clarifications. These are the few things you will need to keep in mind, and kindly write in the chat box if you think you are okay with it or you have any suggestions. Please, if I'm audible, you can see me well. There is no challenge in terms of connectivity, and whatever I said, you're okay with it. Write that yes in the chat box. Yes, we are good to go. Please use chat box option and write there. Go down in this screen on the right hand side, there is an option called chat. And if you click on that, the screen opens where you can leave your messages, you can leave your questions. All right, so we are good to go. Thank you, Mr. Srinivasanji. Thank you so much. So we will start from here, this journey. As topic is very interesting. We all are, Ekta ji just shared that we are all under this lockdown 3.0 and still unsure, would it be the last one? We are still unsure. And I'm sure there are a lot of jokes going around saying, 17 ko khulle wala hai, and somebody laughing at the back saying, ye Modi hai, pata nahi kya karega. And you know all that jokes going around. However, now what is the challenge due to this COVID-19 which we are facing at the moment? We as a general citizen, we as the family person, we as professionals, we as an employee of a company, or we even as a leader. So there are different challenges at different fronts which we are all facing in different capacities. I'm sure you must be observing there are so many changes are happening in our life, and by the way, they are happening on in hourly basis, not in year basis. Earlier, it was relevant when it was said that something happened 10 years back. But today, something is happening just 15 minutes back. And a couple of examples I could quote what change has happened. So today, if you order for pizza from Domino's, you can not only get your pizza delivered, but you can also get your groceries delivered. Can you believe that? You can also have your fresh confectionery delivered, ice creams delivered, atta, dal, chawal delivered while you're ordering for your pizza. Today morning only, somebody shared a very interesting video. People from Delhi NCR can relate to it even faster. In one of the very prominent marketplace in Rajouri Garden, there is a very famous eating outlet, Bikaner Wala. And people can put in the chat box if you are aware of this. If you know what is Bikaner Wala is all about. Haldirams and Bikaner Wala. Do you know what is Bikaner Wala? Haldiram? Say yes in the chat box if you know. Say yes in the chat box if you know. Yes, thank you. So when you think of Bikaner Wala, Haldiram, Nandu's in South, or anyone in the East, whatever names they have given, what do you think of? You think of going there, having your snacks, having your meal, and having a great experience from that place. Well, I was surprised to see if in this Bikaner Wala, if you walk in today, what they're serving is not food, but potato, onion, all the other vegetables at one side, the grocery at the other side, the dairy products at the other side. These are the kind of changes we are going through, ladies and gentlemen, on hourly basis, not even in daily basis. So in this kind of a scenario, in this kind of environment, the challenge which we have to go through is events. Because whatever we knew before COVID is no longer relevant today. We all have to evolve along. We all have to find out new ways. We all have to see how can I make myself relevant for post-COVID-19 situation. And there are many challenges which as leader one faces. So not taking your too much time, I would now invite Dr. Ashok Arya, who is quite an expert in this field, and he will throw some light on these topics, these issues for us. So let us invite Dr. Arya, and we will have his views on the same. Welcome, Dr. Arya.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ashutosh. As you rightly said, that today, every day, every moment is a new opportunity for us to prepare ourselves, learn new things, so as to enable us to face the life in a much more effective and result-oriented manner. I partially agree with you that what we have learned in past may not be of much of use in times to come, but it is not that whatever we have learned in past is going to be wasteful. In fact, that would be the base on which we have to prepare as to how we should face the situation and challenges in the future. Now, why we purposely chose this topic, sustaining organizational culture in difficult times. See, not only all of us as an individual employee, manager, senior manager, MD of the company has to change, but we have to also ensure that the organizations we are heading, departments we are looking after, are in a position to deliver in the difficult demands of this time. There are challenges at all levels, challenges at the level of employees, challenges at the level of supply chain management, availability of raw material, availability of manpower. Because of the changed market scenario, there is a tremendous dearth of order. There are some goods or services which are in huge demand. For example, this mask. Suddenly the demand for mask has gone up tremendously. And overnight, you were giving example of Bikaner and McDonald's. Company like Maruti started manufacturing masks.
Yes.
So that is the kind of change which is taking place. So here, the challenge for all the organizational leaders is how they sustain their existing organizational culture. Now, before I come and suggest how they should do that, let us first understand what is organizational culture. Because it's a phrase which is used very commonly, but rarely understood in the complete sense. Organizational culture is sum total of our assumption, belief, values, attitude, motivational profile, goals, organizational objective, vision, mission, and delivery of services for which the organization has come into existence. So therefore, I would say in one sentence, if one has to define what is organizational culture, it is sum total of all the factors prevailing in your internal organizational environment. In fact, the strategy to face the current situation and current challenges is to focus on your internal environment so as to fight effectively to face the external environment. You will have to review everything internally within the four walls of the organization with your core management team, with your core leadership, and they have to prepare strategies, plans, policies, which would require tremendous changes and they have to ensure that it is delivered as per the plans. Whatever deviations are there, they have to conduct periodic review, maybe on an hourly basis, maybe on a daily basis, and take corrective action depending on the deviation between planning and what is achieved. So it's a situation which has to be monitored 24/7. And first of all, organization has to understand, conduct a review, SWOT analysis, what are its strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. What is its core competence? What are they good at? What they can do themselves, what they have to outsource in the given situation, in the current situation. There might be many things which the organization was doing itself so far. But in the change environment, it may not be possible for a variety of reasons. The one common problem which all organizations will face in times to come is tremendous dearth of manpower, not only technical manpower or managerial manpower. They may be easily available, but there will be tremendous dearth of unskilled, semi-skilled, highly skilled manpower. Because more than 50 lakh people are sitting in areas in NCR to go back to UP and Bihar without bothering what their career would be, because at this point of time, career doesn't seem to be the top priority. The topmost priority is survival, meeting their near and dear ones. So somehow they want to reach, and those who have reached, they may or may not come back that easily, because they will have to conduct individual evaluation, whether it is in their interest or in the interest of their families, to go back to their old jobs, or they would like to settle in their villages itself. So availability of manpower is going to be a big challenge for all kinds of organizations. And whatever manpower is available, although you are given permission by government to operate at 30% right now, which will be gradually increased depending on how situation takes shape. If proper hygiene and health is not taken care, it may lead to worsening of the situation. And as Ashutosh was saying, there are all kinds of jokes, we are expecting that things will improve. It may not improve. We hope that it should improve, because having exercised good control for over 6 weeks, now if we lose our emotional control or physical control and start going to places which is totally unwarranted, situation may change for the worst. So we have to be very, very cautious. We have to be constantly on the visual to ensure that there are no lapses at an individual level, at the family level, at the organization level. Now, organizations will have to ensure that they provide proper hygiene and safety measures right at the time of entrance during the working in the organization. They may have to segregate their manpower into different groups. What set of people, what set of employees, what set of department can work from home. Because if they are allowed to operate at 30%, 70% has to work from home. Now, who are going to be part of this 70%? And first of all, are you going to get 100%? Answer is no. So you have to manage with much lesser manpower. And here I must caution that one of the cultural factors in most of the organization, which I've seen during my 46 years of career, Indian managers are very fond of having large number of people under their administrative control, irrespective of the fact whether they are competent to effectively control them or not. It has become a status symbol. And excessive deployment of manpower is part of our culture. Work which can be done easily by 1 or 2 people, there are 5 people to do that work. And in spite of that, 5 people does not give the result which is expected of them. So there is tremendous amount of inefficiency, delay, lack of sensitivity, and indifference, and lack of right kind of skill. So in the current situation where you're going to manage your enterprise with lesser number of people, one of the challenge for you is how to inculcate multi-skill among your employees. all that culture that I'm a manager, I will not do this myself. I will, some subordinate has to be done away in the current scenario. And not only this, even at a worker level, they have to forget all about their job descriptions and all that. In the current situation, they will have a different kind of job description. And they have to do multiple jobs, multiple assignments simultaneously. Only those employees will be successful who are able to adopt and adapt to the new situation and willing to perform multi-skill jobs. Those who show psychological resistance or incapable of having that kind of skill or adopting that kind of skill are going to be soon phased out of the manpower market. So this is a challenge for those who are little adamant, little inflexible in their attitude, and those who are willing to change, who are flexible, agile, they will gain tremendously in the current situation. Can I have access to this screen? Because I would like to show.
Yes, sure, sure.
Yeah.
Vishnu, please assist Dr. Arya. He will open his slides.
You know, all these concepts have been there for quite some time, but even among the senior managers, I find there is hardly serious thought being given to it. They are using these phrases without really understanding the vastness, relevance of this concept. The only factor which can help managers to come out successfully in the current situation is by sustaining their organization culture, by sustaining its core value, by respecting each and every employee, by encouraging their human approach and mutual respect for everyone. Forget about what has happened in the past, but at least if we are able to take care of these things in the current situation, we will be able to fight the battle far more effectively.
Hello.
Yes, can I have access to the screen?
You can go in screen share and share it.
Where is screen share?
First, you please open your file and then go to screen share. You will get the file open.
My file is open.
Go to screen share.
Where I'm not able to see the sign of screen share.
It is in green fluorescent at bottom of your Zoom link with arrow sign.
Which one you said?
Share screen. It would be at the bottom of your screen.
I'm seeing mute. I'm seeing video stop. More. In more, I'm participant, chat, record on the computer.
In between start video and participant, there is a share sign. You click on share sign and then add the file which you want to show.
Switch to phone audio, leave computer audio setting.
Okay, just a second. Now search your share screen. It is in. It would be in bottom between your mic and
Video, which is not there. So you can try. In the meantime, let me continue the discussion. I was getting it earlier, but now I'm not getting this sign. I just come.
Hello.
Yes, I'm able to see it.
Yes. So, sir, इसको put it on a slideshow mode from the bottom. So please put it on a slideshow mode from the bottom.
Okay.
Perfect, perfect.
Now, what we have already discussed partly, so I'll hurriedly go through it. Organizational culture is a system of shared assumptions, values, and beliefs which governs how people behave in the organization. These shared values have a strong influence on people working in the organization and governs how they assume, act, and perform their job. Every organization develops and maintains a unique culture which provides guidelines and boundaries for the behavior of the members of the organization. For example, trust is one of the core values in most of the organization, but it is rarely practiced. In every small thing, for example, an employee says that, look, I had to, who's entitled to travel by scooter. Suppose for one particular day, he has to make use of taxi because non-availability of scooter. We will say, have you got the receipt? Now, this shows that you're not trusting your employees. So we may say a lot of things that we trust and we do this and we do. Many organizations claim that human resource is their most precious asset. Now, this is being used only as a slogan. If you see the actual working of the organization, you will find this is really practice. So, organization culture, there is a ABC strategy. What is that? Where are you is A. Where you want to be, B. And how you want to get there is C. So, on one side of your organizational culture, you have strategy, which is as easy as ABC, which I just mentioned. Where you are, where you want to be, and course to follow. On other side, you have managerial function like planning, organizing, leading, controlling. And so you shall be known as strategic management. What is needed in current situation is, now how do you define strategy? The simplest definition of strategy is that a unique plan of action which can be changed according to the demand of the situation. That is strategy. So today, since you have to monitor situation on a minute-to-minute basis, you have to be strategic manager primarily and keep on changing the path of your planning, path of your execution, path of your review, depending on the feedback you get from the situation. It includes formulating a long-term view, vision and mission, focus towards setting objective, implementing program and project that you get there, using objective as a measure to establish the result attained, continuous evaluation. Every organization requires 4 basic ingredients to be successful. What are these 4 ingredients? Leadership, strategic plan, management team capable of implementing the strategy, and an action plan. Now, this is the complete strategic planning process. You start with development of vision and mission, take into account external audit, internal audit, long-term objective, generate, evaluate, and select strategies, implement strategies, management issues, implement strategies, including marketing strategy, financial strategies, HR strategies, operational, etc. Finances is going to be a major issue for most of the organization like HR. Marketing is also going to go complete sea change because of variation of demand. Some organization will have sudden influx of increase in demand. Some will have absolute reduction in the demand. So you have to cater according to the situation. Measure, evaluation based on the performance and take corrective action. And again, go back to the vision and mission based on the feedback you get. Strategic evaluation, strategic implementation, and strategic formulation. So it's a continuous process. You have to keep on updating on a daily basis based on the kind of challenges you face. Now, strategic planning phases includes mission, vision, goal, objective, SWOT analysis I've mentioned, PEST strategy, which I'll explain in due course, action plans. What are your action plans? Mission, what, why, for whom, how. Goals and objective, provide guidelines for taking action on the organizational purpose. You know, your eyes have to be perfectly focused on the core issue. Goals and objective, relatively enduring intention to act, target for accomplishment, guide for decision making, link purpose, vision to action. An objective is to be specific, measurable, a result to be achieved by a specific point in time. Everything has to be time bound. Objectives stem directly from your goals. One goal may have many objectives. Now, we just had PACE-T, which I mentioned. What is that? Assessment or scanning of external environment, which includes political environment, economic environment. You do not know, for example, what will be the action of government, whether it will withdraw lockdown or whether it will extend, if it will extend, with what condition. So that is part of political, economic, social environment. Technological changes, there may be many technologies which may become obsolete because you don't have the manpower to use it right. Depending on the kind of orders you have, you may have to diversify into some new area. So you have to adopt new technology. Environment. What is the external environment? Are people scared, full of anxiety, or are they resorting to normalcy as quickly as possible? All this is part of your external environment assessment. And any other relevant trend which may impact your organization. You know, each organization will have a specific set of challenges. There will be some common challenges based on PACE-T. And then, in addition to that, some specific challenges for your organization which are peculiar to you. Now, how you have to do organizational assessment? What are your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? SWOT analysis has to be conducted. Strength is competitive advantage. It is something that organization does better than others. I said, what is your USP? Weakness, it is competitive disadvantage. It is something the organization does not do as well as other organizations. So what you are not good at, don't focus there. Just focus on your strength. What are the opportunities in the change business scenario? Is it possible to change in the world outside? An organization which improves its ability to compete and meet the need of community. I gave you example of Maruti manufacturing masks. Similarly, many organizations producing chemicals, they have shifted to sanitization manufacturing in a huge manner. What are the threats? Is it possible? Change in the world outside, the organization which threatened its ability to compete or meet the need of the community, or it is the internal challenges. You have to prepare a statement of both and prepare how you are in a position to fight that out. Then after finding out the SWOT, you have to find out what is the gap analysis, where you are, what is the situation audit, what is your vision in next 1 to 3 years. In fact, one of the major challenge in the current environment is you don't have to resort to a planning span of even 1 to 3 years. Earlier, we used to talk of 5-year plan, 10 years plan. All that has become redundant in today's situation. Today, you have to resort to weekly plan, monthly plan, quarterly plan, and maximum a plan for a span of 1 year. You can't even think of a plan for 3 years. So the span of your planning has to be shorter, but more accurate. Where you are today, what you have to do to get there, where you want to reach, and where you want to reach. What are your strategies? Strategy outline the action which are needed to cross the gap between the weakness, threat, and strength and opportunity. The strategy links the goal and objective to the action details. In the current business scenario, you don't have to change your values. You have to change your strategies. So anything which you change is not your value. It may be a facade for a value, because value is permanent belief. So if you have been following the policy of being truthful with all your stakeholders, you don't have to change. Continue with that value, but change your strategies by changing your advertising strategy, by changing your communication strategy, and things like that. Strategies lead to performance. What gets rewarded counts. What counts gets measured. What gets measured gets done. What gets done gets rewarded. So this is the cycle you have to. Action plan, what to achieve, minimum standard of success, activities step by step, break it down into a chart. Who will do what, when, with details of date, resources, budget, possible problems. You have to anticipate problems well in advance so that it doesn't come to you as a surprise. Task of strategic planning, a summary, just to give you an overview. Define the business and developing a vision. SWOT and gap analysis, setting objective. Crafting a strategic action plan. And following evaluation, reviewing, adjusting, and correcting. While implementing your strategies, you have to evaluate what you have achieved, what is missing, how to adjust and take corrective action, and then achieve your objective. Now the main issue, how do you sustain your organization culture? Focus on positivity, because that's the only way. If you focus on negativity, you will not only lose your confidence, you will make your team also to lose your confidence. So being positive is a major challenge, and just focus on positivity and nothing else. Discourage any kind of gossip, complaining, criticizing. Anybody, any manager who's in habit of criticizing or finding fault, you tell him that this is the time of challenge for you. You have to just produce research. We don't want problems, we want solution. If you have a problem, come to us with solution. Ensure share values under all circumstances. You have to constantly communicate with your stakeholders, especially your employees and customers. Give and receive feedback. In order to stay focused on your predetermined path, it is very essential that you constantly seek feedback of your stakeholders so that you stay realistic in your planning and action. Follow through. Follow through by indulging into a dialogue, discussion, meetings over the Zoom and other media. Care about your team members. You may not be able to offer them through monetary incentive in the current financial crisis, but you can certainly show your emotional support by encouraging them, by praising them, by appreciating their problem, by empathizing with them. Indulge into a behavior which is empathetic, supportive, guides them, and motivate them constantly. Even if somebody is losing his confidence, you have to encourage him to do his best. Find out who are your black horses, who have been the major strength of the organization. So you can divide your manpower into 3 categories: blue collar, white collar, gold collar. Now here, blue collar doesn't mean the one who is doing an unskilled job. Blue collar is that who depends only on instruction, doesn't apply his mind himself. White collar is the one who, if told what to do, he will do it meticulously. And gold collar is the one who is a visionary, who can foresee the problem in advance and who is willing to take risk. And these are the leaders who need to be respected, recognized, and rewarded. Set expectation for employees at all levels. Tell them in no uncertain terms what you want, irrespective of what they have in terms of resources. It is a question of survival for them. And for any organization, there are primarily 2 objectives. One is stability and second is profitability. Right now, we have to achieve stability. Profitability is something which we'll achieve in due course of time if we are able to stabilize our operation. But if we are not able to stabilize our operation, profitability will never come. On the contrary, the organization may disappear. Evaluate your processes and procedures. This is the time you have to review all your existing system and procedure. Maybe there is inbuilt deficiency, inbuilt delays, indifference, inefficiency in certain system, which is preventing people to give their best. Seek their feedback, and whatever they suggest, if you agree with that, change those systems and give them freedom and flexibility to adopt this flexible approach. Their focus should be only on producing results. The systems are important, but right now results are more important than system. So system has to be in consonance with result producing capacity or capability of a manager. Create opportunity for collaboration within the organization. as well as outside the organization. Be consistent. Do not act in panic that today you give a set of instruction and tomorrow, without explaining the purpose, you give another set of instruction. So your employees will get totally confused. Be consistent, even if there is a need to change your instruction or change your path. Explain the reason. Explain the reason and explain why you need to change the path. Then they will have better cooperation and they will give their wholehearted support to you. But if you just give them instruction and operate from a style of authoritative leader or adopting laissez-faire style of leadership, it is not going to work. You have to be a very mature, democratic leader who have to explain the rationale behind each and every decision of yours. Tell them success stories from different organizations in this time, how they have adjusted. For this, you have to be aware of latest development. You have to work for longer hours, make best use of your time, have to do a lot of learning within a short time. So this is all I have to share. Now I request Ashutosh, if there are some questions, I would like to answer those questions.
Sure. Right. Thank you, Dr. Arya, for such enlightenment. In fact, very valid points you have made. And if I were to just put some of this in a small summary at the moment, so you also talked about what is the impact on a leadership. So it is more to do with your thought process. If you are still struggling and not being able to differentiate between expense and investment, you will continue to struggle.
Yes.
So you need to find out your dark horses and you need to understand and realize who are the people are good for your organization and you want to really bet with them and you want to carry on with them for even longer period. And therefore you have to support them now and give them confidence, give them trust, and make them also part of the decision making. So that's another important point you made, sir. And as you have also said, that in these times, there are businesses which will not be flourishing, but there are businesses which will be flourishing. So one has to become innovative in the way they conduct their business. They have to look at their strategies more than finding fault in people or looking at that as an excuse of checking out people from their organization. So these are some of the brilliant points you made, sir. But yeah, this take us to the next question, in fact, which I have in mind. I'm sure most people sitting in the audience would be having as well. So what are the different components of organizational culture which will get impacted because of this COVID-19? There is Mr. Nirmal also who has asked this in the audience there, that what about the large organization? Because what is the culture now we are referring to? Because earlier it was a scenario where I was going and sitting in an office and working with set of people around me. Today I am totally detached and also directionless. So in this scenario of working from home, what is the culture we are referring to and how will that get impacted?
See, answering first part of your question about component of organizational culture. As I mentioned at the beginning of my discussion, it is sum total of your shared values, belief, assumptions, and agreed style of working, agreed style of relationship. Suppose organization is used to a democratic leadership style, and suddenly, because of the change in situation, somebody adopts a autocratic style or dictatorial style. There are quite a sizable number of managers who says that you do this. If you're not able to do it, don't come to office. Now that kind of language, that kind of leadership style is going to bring panic and make people lose their confidence. You have to be very, very supportive, especially if somebody is putting in his best. If you find somebody is just trying to make excuses, then maybe after giving him a reasonable chance, which has to be much shortened period because you don't have time. Time is against you. So you give him 1 or 2 chances. If you find he's not getting the message, then you have to tell him assertively, without being aggressive, that I'm afraid in the given situation, I can't wait for a longer time. You have only 2 choices, either perform or perish. So decision is purely yours. I have given you opportunity. If you're not able to perform, I will have no other choice but to ask you to get out of the organization. So where you have to really make things clear. That's why I said your communication channels have to be very, very apt and succinct. No ambiguity, no beating around the bush, no indulging into goody talk. Because let me tell you, you can put Indian organization into three different sector of organization. Organization where on the first available opportunity they initiate disciplinary action. They are indulging into witch hunting, if I can use the expression. Second kind of organization is, you don't make a differentiation between employees based on their performance. You give everybody average rating. This is a typical public sector culture, where as a manager, you don't want to earn the wrath of anyone by classifying them as good, excellent, or poor. Because you feel that if you really tell them what they are, they will not extend cooperation. The third kind of organizations are where they try to appease their manpower by extending them various benefits much more than what they deserve. Now, all that has to stop. You have to first of all tell them in no uncertain terms what they are, and here is a situation where they have a major challenge and they have to respond quickly. So all that pep talk, all that talking goody, pampering, getting work done by cajoling them is not going to work. Be sympathetic, but be clear, unambiguous in your communication.
Right. Thank you. That's a very, very good model which you have shared. I'm sure my colleagues are putting these thoughts in the chat box also for people's reference so that they can pick up from there as well. So that's a very good point you made. The communication should not be goody because this will land into trouble later on. It is better to be crisp and clear and straightforward. And if there is a ambiguity, that time to be settled it out there itself. That's
Yes,
a very good,
yes.
valid point you made. But sir, Dr. Arya, then I have to ask you another question leading from here only. Can this culture be changed overnight? So this organization who has been in this space for last 30, 40, maybe 50 years, and there is a particular management style they have been following all these years. Now, aren't we expecting too much from them to suddenly change overnight and become quite easy and quite aggressive in terms of working from home, etc., and quite open to such brilliant ideas?
See, it can be changed, but it is not desirable to make sudden changes overnight. If the gravity of the situation demands to bring appropriate changes in your organizational culture, you have to change. But as I said, change your strategy. Do not change your values. Do not change your core belief. Do not change your basic, systems. For example, if mutual respect has been one of your core values, you need not change that. Increase your communication, adopt the right kind of strategy to make people respond quickly rather than changing your value. Focus on your strategy rather than changing your value.
Sure. Again, a very crisp answer. And in fact, it also reminds me a very interesting stat which I read in the newspaper today morning in the Economic Times, where it said people have lost job, more number of people have lost job because of COVID than have actually died because of COVID.
See, there is a tremendous misunderstanding about analysis of the current situation. On other forum also I mentioned this. In India, 150,000 people die every year in the accident.
Right.
It comes to an average of about 1,800 people per day. In COVID, till today, 1,800 people have not died in the last 2 months. So, as the results are right now, it is not very serious. But it is the trend which is major source of concern. See, if not controlled, if social distancing is not exercised, if precautions are not taken, then not 1,800, 18,000 people may die in one day. So just because there has not been a major calamity in last 2 months, it is no guarantee that there will be no major calamity in the next. We have to be on our tantrums all the time, on our tender hooks all the time. Be attentive. We cannot take things lightly. As situation is eased by government, we need not indulge into unnecessary moving out and things like that, or start going to restaurants or start indulging into socializing with people unnecessarily. That has to be controlled.
Sure. Thank you. Let me have now my colleague Ekta, who's been collecting questions from the audience also. So she, on their behalf, may be putting up one question, adding up one movie from her side as well. Go over to you,
Yes,
Ekta.
yes. Thank you very much, Ashutosh. It's such a pleasure hearing Mr. Dr. Arya, and I've heard him earlier as well. So I have one question, sir. I have heard you earlier also emphasizing on the fact that display of moral character and high values is something that will go a long way, particularly specifically the post-COVID environment. So I just want to ask that, can an organizational culture really help any company to get through these difficult times and to keep in mind any heartburns, without actually laying off people or without a very major change? Can really organizational culture help in
Yeah,
difficult times?
yes, you've asked a very pertinent question. I must congratulate you for that. See, in the current time, the only way you can achieve fast result is by setting your own example. Your own conduct has to be of such high order that your employees, your team emulates your leadership style. They get encouraged by your conduct rather than your words. As I said, talking goody goody is not going to make them change their working style overnight.
Empathy.
You have to show them it is the time for you to put everything in action. And if you can do as a leader, I see no reason why they would not do. I had a very long inning in the corporate world as a senior manager, chief executive, and all that. And I've seen this leadership style of emulating or leading by self example is the best way of motivating your team.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So, in fact, we are also getting a reminder from the team that we are about to finish the time. So maybe, Dr. Arya, if I can just ask you as a concluding remarks on this session, and then we can just go for the closing.
See, no doubt it is trying time, but there is no reason to get panic or losing confidence. You have to exercise discipline of the highest order in your personal life, in your family life. Focus on your creativity and try out all the nice things which you have been thinking so long. There is no reason why you cannot come out successful. Because let me tell you, there has been maximum number of invention during World War I and II. Be it development of management as a discipline, be it innovation and discovery of new technologies. Every crisis has a bright silver line. It depends how we take it and how we respond. If we respond in a positive manner, there is no reason why we cannot come out with flying. With these remarks, I would like to continue.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Arya. By the way, sometimes I get really confused listening to you for a reason. When I look at your biography, I look at your introduction, it says that you're a lawyer, practicing lawyer with Supreme Court. But when you start talking, I see a mentor and a coach and a consultant sitting in there and talking to us and giving so many solutions to us, which is very unlike lawyers, So that really is really.
See, I said leading by self-example is the best example. I believe in multi-skilling. And in fact, people find it difficult to believe that an individual can do. As a management and legal consultant, I provide consulting in 5 areas: corporate management, human resource management, business law, marketing, and PR. Now, most of the clients find it difficult to accept that individual can do it. There's nothing which is impossible. It all depends on your training, effort you put in, and your urge for knowledge.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Arya. Thank you so very much. So if I were to just summarize, let's say this thing quickly.
Ashutosh, do we have time for just one question? Mr. Dinesh Channa, he's from the manufacturing industry, sir.
Please go ahead.
And Dinesh ji has asked a question which he says that after the lockdown, how do you suggest us, as in the company which is having, which earlier had a 50 crore turnover? So how do you expect that company to come out of this pandemic? And what will be the most important tasks for the manufacturing industry particularly?
See, you have to assess what is the consumer demand right now, and to what extent you can meet the demand with your existing line of production. Or if when you have to make changes, what is the change which you can make quickly to respond to customer need? Because right now, customer need have gone for a total change. People are just confining to basic need instead of, indulging into luxury, tourism, travel, parties, and all that. And one of the positive point of this discipline which we underwent in the last 6 months, people have realized in a big way that it is not big things they need in life for survival. It is basic human needs are very basic, and it doesn't cost much of money. So even if people have to face salary cut, they should accept if it is a question of choosing between their career and losing their job. See, your strategy in life should be, you should not mind losing a battle, but you must win the war. So right now we are facing a war. Even if you have to make compromises here and there in terms of changing your basic needs, salary, career prospect, increment, that is for an individual employee. And for an organization, you may have to make technological changes, which you can do easily. You have to find out what is your core competency and focus on that, so that you are able to respond to the customer need in the shortest, quickest possible time, and encash the market situation to your advantage.
Thank you, sir. I think that's all with the questions, Ashutosh.
Sure. Thank you, Ekta. So it's great inputs, Dr. Arya, and as you very rightly put this whole thing. So I'm just summarizing what you just said and the overall session we have gone through. So very valid points you have raised. It's also to do with our mindset. How do we respond to the situation? And it's not about getting really worried and hassled by what's happening around. Not, one should not depend on the media or say things happening around and talking about it. It's their business. We need to carry on with our business with a positive mindset. Find out areas. What are the areas which I need to work on as a maybe entrepreneur, as a business owner, as an employee, or as a professional, and then look at those areas specifically and upskilling myself, as you very rightly use the word, and educate myself and upskilling myself so as to keep myself relevant for the future job prospects, etc. post COVID-19. Very rightly brought again mentioned by you is that one should not compromise on values. Values are the ones which one must carry on always. Change your strategy if you have to. And for God's sake, let COVID-19 be not the victim of you finding a reason to check out people. There could be different reasons to do so. And thank you so very much. This has been a really enlightening session. We all have really learnt along and have got a lot of ideas from you. I look forward to catch up with you soon again for more knowledge and more inputs from you, please.
Thank you very much, and I really appreciate your effort and cooperation. And thank you to Mr. Rajan, DMA, for giving me this opportunity.
Sure. Thank you. And it's over to Rajanji again. So Rajanji, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And this session was very wonderful. Doctor has been outstanding, a great thought leader, very informative session, an insightful session, I can say. I enjoyed a lot. I'm sure all the participants got a lot of knowledge and insightful from the eminent professional like Dr. Arya. So I thank your organization for partnering with DMA, and this is just the beginning. Many more sessions we can do in future also. Thank you once again to all the participants and to all our eminent speakers.
Thank you.
This is for the DMA team, Rajanji, Dr. Arya, and all the participants. So thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
All my employees, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you once again, sir.
So, Vishnuji, you can end the meeting now. Thank you.